Was the kid born while I was away? Despite it being the funeral day, my Sil, Oliver called with a carefree tone. Yay, the kid was born safely. He probably couldn't believe his ears when his Mill, picked up my daughter's cell phone. I heard him click his tongue and mutter, "Damn it. Can I talk to my wife? I want to talk directly. My daughter passed away." Huh. Come to the funeral right now. Don't mess around. That's a harsh joke. Oliver laughed, refusing to believe my words and making fun of me. It's all your fault. You'll pay for this, I muttered quietly and hung up. I'm Amelia, 58 years old. Until a few days ago, I had a 30-year-old daughter. Now, she lies quietly in a white coffin. Touching her cold cheeks, I call out to my daughter, Emma, but she doesn't even flinch. As I look at her face, now like a doll's, recent events run through my mind. If only I had reached Emma sooner. Just thinking about it fills me with regret, squeezing my chest, and tears overflow uncontrollably. A week ago, my daughter called me with an anxious voice. I live far away. Mom, what should I do? The contractions started, and I'm so worried. It's your first delivery. It's natural to worry. I called the hospital, and they said to come when the contractions are 10 minutes apart. But I'm alone and scared. Oliver is at work, but you have your Mill living with you, right? But despite knowing the due date, my Sil and his mother had booked an overseas trip. They said it's fine since a midwife will handle it. They left Emma, who had just started having contractions. I shuddered at their actions. I told my daughter to take a taxi to the hospital if the pain got worse. Then I jumped into my car immediately. My always lively daughter becoming so timid. It's about a 3-hour drive from my house to where my daughter lives. But of course, I got stuck in traffic at a time like this, taking 5 hours to arrive. When I finally arrived at my daughter's house, the sun had already set and the surroundings were pitch black. However, the lights at her home are not on. Has she gone to the hospital? Or maybe, no way. Pushing aside my ominous feeling, I opened the front door and found my daughter collapsed there. I hastily picked her up, her clothes soaked because her water had broken, and the floor was wet too. And her face, which I hadn't seen in a while, looked so worn out, not like that of a pregnant woman at full term. I trembled with agitation, held my shaking hands, and hurriedly called an ambulance. After arriving at the hospital, although she regained consciousness, it was deemed impossible for her to deliver naturally, and Emma was taken to the operating room. I hope both the baby and Emmy are safe, I prayed earnestly in front of the operating room. After a while, we heard the babies crying, and the doctor who came out from the other side of the door said, "It's a healthy baby girl." Relieved and feeling grateful, the doctor uttered unbelievable words with a grim expression. "Your daughter has lost a lot of blood and is quite exhausted, so she needs to be monitored for a while. Please be prepared for the worst." What? No way. Emma, taken from the operating room to the ward, looked exhausted with countless 4 needles in both hands and wearing an oxygen mask. The joy of my granddaughter's birth was short-lived, as I couldn't help but worry about her critical condition. Perhaps to lift our spirits, the nurse allowed my daughter, who was in such a state, to hold the newborn baby. Upon doing so, Emma opened her eyes slightly, smiled, and tearfully exclaimed, "I'm glad you were born safely." She was overjoyed. 2 days later, I was able to have a conversation with Emma, who had regained a bit of strength. "I'm sorry for causing you trouble, Mom. As long as you and the baby are safe, that's all that matters. I asked Oliver to let me stay at your place before birth, but it was rejected. I thought he canceled the trip in exchange for that. It's too cruel to leave you alone when you're in labor." "Yeah, you're right. At this rate, even if we go back home, we might not be able to protect the baby." With determination, Emma asked me to do something. After completing the task she entrusted to me that day and reporting back, Emma closed her eyes with a relieved expression and fell asleep again. I hope she recovers like this. Her complexion is really pale. I wished fervently, clinging to hope, but my prayers went unanswered, and with each passing day, Emma's condition deteriorated. I called Oliver several times during this period, but no matter how many times I called, it never went to voicemail. 3 days later, despite the treatment, my daughter passed away, leaving behind her newborn baby. Emma's last words were heartbreaking. "I'm sorry for being such a failure of a daughter. Mom, please protect the baby." She wasn't the kind of child to say such things. "Emma, I'm sorry I couldn't come to you right away. My heart, having lost my precious daughter, was overwhelmed with sadness and pain. But I couldn't just wallow in sorrow. Even after that, to convey the news of my daughter's death, I called Oliver's phone countless times, but it never connected. At my wit's end, I went to Emma's house to find out the hotel's phone number where they were staying. As I searched for their travel itinerary, I found my daughter's diary in a drawer. This is terrible. Written there were facts beyond my imagination. As I read on, I understood the true meaning behind Emma's words when she called herself a failure of a daughter. Unable to stop my trembling hands and heart, I collapsed right there. To subject her to such a fate, I'll never forgive them. I'll make them regret it. I held the diary close to my chest and vowed strongly. And a few days later, Oliver returned the call in a casual tone. "I'm back in the States. Was the baby born?" "Yes. The baby is full of energy." "Huh. Is this Emma's phone? Your voice sounds different." "Oh, that's right. It's been a while, Oliver. This is Emma's mother." "Oh, why didn't you say so sooner? Let me talk to Emma." "I can't do that. Our daughter has passed away." "What? The daughter you abandoned when she was in labor? Because of that, she passed away." "Passed away? Stop kidding me. The funeral will begin shortly. If you feel sorry for Emma, come right now." I quickly ended the call after informing him of the funeral location, and immediately his call came in, but I didn't want to be disturbed during my farewell with Emma, so I turned off the phone and ignored it. As time passed, the funeral was solemnly held. It would be so frustrating for her to leave her dater. Emma was suffering so much, and I couldn't realize it sooner. "I'm sorry." Tears overflowed, and no matter how much I wiped them away, they wouldn't stop. Beside me, my husband was biting his lip, looking down, trying hard to hold back tears. Soon after, Oliver and his mother finally arrived. Seeing the faces of the people there filled with sorrow, the two of them stood dumbfounded. Moreover, as if they had come straight from the airport, Oliver was wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and his mother was wearing a large-brimmed straw hat with sunglasses on. My husband's face quickly turned into a demon's expression. "What's with that ridiculous outfit? You should be wearing appropriate clothes." "Well, I was told to hurry, so I had no choice. Before you argue, apologize sincerely to our daughter." At that, instead of breaking down in tears at the sight of Emma's portrait, Oliver snorted and laughed. "I'm the one who should be apologized to. Who's going to take care of things around the house now? Anyone can give birth, but she's an utterly useless wife. How despicable." "I'm just being honest." Even his mother strongly nodded beside him, saying, "That's right." I clenched my hand tightly, feeling the pain of my nails digging in. My usually gentle husband's eyes were bloodshot, his face more terrifying than I had ever seen, yet he seemed oblivious to it all. "So, was the baby indeed a girl?" "Yes. I knew it. Geez, it would have been better if she had at least given birth to a boy to carry on the family line. She was nothing but a useless wife, incapable of anything." I suppressed the urge to lash out immediately if I were to be forgiven, and I glared at him. "We don't need the child, so you two can raise her yourselves. That was the plan from the beginning. Besides, the divorce between you and Emma has been finalized." "Huh? Divorce?" "I submitted the divorce papers at Emma's request. You were the one who wrote them yourself and used them as a threat, right?" Emma had endured all sorts of harassment despite her hatred because she felt that the child needed a father, but perhaps sensing that she couldn't protect the child herself, she entrusted me with the divorce papers. Emma has taken custody, so we, as a couple, will take responsibility for raising the child. You filed for divorce without consulting me. But since Emma has passed away, naturally, custody falls to me. I'll take care of the child, so hand over child support. Do you even understand what you're saying? Yay, I'll take the child. I'll take care of her for free, so give me the money. How despicable. I've already filed for legal guardianship, so you're the one who has to pay child support. Huh. You're surprisingly greedy. But since Emma had a hefty life insurance policy, I'll give you around $1,000. I was stunned by my Oliver's words. The way he said it made it sound like Emma's death had been decided in advance. Could it be? Everything went smoothly according to plan. Emma also served our purpose well, as expected. So that means you intentionally abandoned her. Well, yo, Haga. I was so shocked that I felt like collapsing, but my husband quickly supported me. Even he was shaking his shoulders in disbelief. The relatives around us began to murmur and exchange glances. When I told Mimel that the baby was a girl, she shouted, "A dil who can't bear a son is useless." My husband also said, "You're a failure, utterly hopeless, and pathetic." It was very sad. But I thought they would take care of her once she was born, so I have to endure it for now. I started reading Emma's diary that I took out of my bag. In the scorching summer sun, I was sent by my mill to go shopping, and as soon as I came back home, I was ordered to weed the garden without a moment's rest. After that, I was given one task after another, and often, when I cooked dinner, if it wasn't to her liking, she would throw it away and ask me to remake it. What should I do? She was heavily pregnant, yet she was worn out for this reason. Everything was written in this diary. You're taking it out without permission. It's like stealing. And you deliberately made it impossible for her to contact us. Even though Emma wanted to come back to our place before birth, she was forced to give up, abandoned, and left feeling helpless. I don't care. They showed no sign of remorse and seemed unaware of how sinful they were. At that moment, my husband's angry voice rang out, and not only us but also the relatives couldn't contain their anger and made them kneel down right there. Finally realizing their position, Oliver changed his attitude as if on a dime. "Okay, I got it. Please, just let it go. It's not over yet. What you did to our daughter, the CEO of the company you work for knows about it, so you'll probably get fired." Huh? Why? The CEO and I are friends. The world is small. Not only that, but it's also known among the neighbors. I told them when I went to my daughter's place. A concerned neighbor approached me, so I informed them about Emma's passing and explained the whole situation up until then. Feel the weight of the sin you've committed and live with regret for the rest of your life. You don't have to go that far. As the two of them slumped their shoulders in disappointment, I had one more important thing to tell them. Oh, and I'm the beneficiary of Emma's insurance money. Huh? What? Oliver and his mother exchanged shocked looks. There was a piece of paper ticked into my daughter's diary, and it was an insurance form. Without telling anyone, she had changed the beneficiary of the insurance money to me. It must be disappointing to see all your plans fall apart. Seriously, I was counting on that money. Oh, and by the way, I've already filed a police report for abandonment of parental responsibility. It's going to be tough because now there's another crime of leaving Emma behind just to claim the life insurance money. Police. No way. Please forgive us. Pale-faced, Oliver and his mother were rubbing their heads against the floor, but I had no intention of forgiving them at all. I'll never forgive you. Enjoy every bit of hell on earth. Eventually, a police car, summoned by a relative, arrived. As they were taken away, everyone present coldly watched the two of them wail and cry. Later on, I hired a lawyer to demand child support from Oliver. I hope they receive strict punishment for driving my daughter to her death. Even if they manage to come out of prison someday, Oliver, who lost his job, and his mother, who will be gossiped about by the neighbors, won't be able to lead a peaceful life as before. My husband and I are raising the baby Emma gave birth to. The insurance money that was deposited will all be used for the baby's living expenses. The sadness of losing Emma won't go away, but there are many moments when I feel saved just by seeing this child smile. From now on, I will pour all the love Emma couldn't give to her daughter.